Okay, we went through the Nekudas Advarim is that the Rebbe is being mavir here that there's the Inyanim of and Shem and Koyach. That is the Inyan Hagilui. Stavetitsky, the door. The door.
You want the door closed?
Yeah. That there's the Inyan of and there's the Inyan of Shem. The mile of is that through is the Gilei Amor. The Idach, since the idea of is Galas Amor, so it's the Mocker, the way it relates to the Gilei. The Gilei is in some measure, the Gilei is a certain tfisa, a certain way of being Nesgala. It means that it's being Nesgala in a certain mode. And so it's not the Mocker the way it is Vipshituse Hamuchletes, the way it is in his own Atzmius. And the stems from the Tnuas Hamor, from the fact that the Mocker is a Shaykhis the Gilei. That's where the comes from. So he also comes from the Mocker the way the way the Mocker is Shaykh to be Nesgala, not the way the Mocker is Be'etzim. So that's the Chisarn of Shem, that he doesn't express the Etzim the way he is Ba'atzmusei, but L'chatchila the Etzim the way he is a source, the way he's a Mocker, the way he's Shaykh is to be seen and to be Nesgala. Mashi'in Shem is Adechat, there's no Esgalos in Shem, there's no Tchunis Sa'ad, it's not Nikar Klal or Klal B'Shmei. But Adarab, the Shem is connected with the Etzim is not limited, that is, he's not a being which is defined by Gilui. He's not a being which is defined by the fact that he exists, or the fact that he's felt somewhere is because Bigoli, because you're able to see the Shaykhas within the place on him. The idea the Etzim is not limited in any definition at all. So the fact that he's somewhere, or his essence is not based on any Nekudah of Tzir and Teichin. And that Nekudah is expressed after in Shem. Shem is Neveh Mitzad the Nekudah that the Amitis Hedrak Dor of the essence, the way he is Batzmusei. And beside that Inyan, he could be B'kol Mokim. And not only that, but Vu brings Chareis, the Nekudah Sa'etzim of the Etzim, the fact that he's beyond the Inyan of Tzir and Tfisa, that's expressed in the Inyan the way it is Behalami. The fact that in the Shem, where you don't have anything of Milas Sa'adim in the Shem, so that's connected to the Etzim, which is beyond Milas. The aspect of which brings out the hafla of the etzim, the milas of the etzim, so that brings out the aspect of the etzim shashach is the gili, his milas, his haflois. Masha'inkin in the shame, that's neveh mitzad the etzim, the way he's batzmusay. There is taka beyond the idea of milas, beyond any teichin, and that's expressed in the fact that there's the shaykhas doesn't need to be based on a certain teichin. It's his name without a taich. That's connected. That's the way it's beyond taich. But so, I mentioned last time at the beginning of the Maamarim, the Rebbe is a shtikal arichas when they get to Matan Torah Shoshana. So really, it's not stam azayt keinin. The Rebbe is Maamarim when they get to Matan Torah Shoshana. Really, it has to do with the same nekuda that Matan Torah is mash'egin Shoshana is etzim. I don't remember exactly where we got to inside, but the Rebbe speaks over here the gabi the Inyan of Achtos. I mentioned last time that the al derech the Rebbe is mevar here b'chal when they get to Eir and Shem. So the Rebbe is mevar the gabi the musik of Achtos, that there is the okay, let's see it inside. We'll see the. Yeah, I mentioned the sikha. I don't know if anybody looked it up. Was this a bracha? But this is see it. So we're holding by Lahavan Zeh. I remember where we read. Exactly what we. Okay, we'll start from there. Lahavan. I remember we went past Ve'in who. We'll start from Lahavan Zeh. Lahavan Zeh tzarchlak mashas bar leila hefesh min Shoshana lakim teira. The Shoshana ksevat himself mayim kulchem mashiachim shefteichem mecheti v'tzachat sheivim echa. So Yom Atem Nitzav Mayim is going Rosh Hashanah. Yom Adadin Rabba. Ubi Yom Zeh Atem Nitzavim Kulchem. The pasuk says Atem Nitzavim all Yidden Kol Nitzutzis Nishamis Nitzavim U'Misalim U'Kerim Arish. Kulchem Atem Nitzavim means that they're all Nis'ala in their makir, and the Kulchem means that they're Nis'ala in a way because they're Nis'ala to their makir, so they're an Eifin of Achtos. Kulchem means as one Nukuda, as one entity. Va'af Sheperet Kan Eser Madregis. Sheichem Shiftechem Atshevim Mechem Nekom Kol Madrigas Elu Kulchem Lachadim Keechad. Means just we'll see this in the gate to the Hemshech. In Pashas Advarim, the Alter says in Tanya Perek Lamed Beis, the fact that mitzad what you have the Achtos of all neshamas. Mitzad what aspect are all Yidden? Each Yid has his own tzir and his own inyan, and mitzad what do you say that all Yidden are one nekuda? So the Pashas says the more you're mafshit yourself from the tzir of the guf or from the tzir of the keiches, and the more you're nis'ala to the makir. Havaya chot to the makir, which is beyond seer. Mitzad nekuda, all yidden are one nekuda. Mitzad the neshama the it's melubish beguf. Mitzad the gufim there's a schalkus. Mitzad the neshama the it's mislabish in the guf there's a schalkus. Each Yid has its own function. When you mitzad the Makar, where we all stem from, mitzad Havaya Echad, which is beyond Sir, mitzad Pshittis, so all Yidden are one Nekuda. Everywhere you're going to touch it. You say that there's an Nekuda of Mesiras Nefesh, let's say, or there's an Nekuda of being devoted to the Eibishter beyond Hagbolis, and that Nekuda's Hablikvo is expressed by every Yid, Bashva. The fact that a Yid is devoted to the Eibishter beyond limits, that's the Nekuda that every single Yid has it, Bashva. And there's no Eschalkos. Mitzad Aveda, which has the Neshama is Mizgale, Neshama Beguf, so when the Kesher of the Yid to the Eibishter is Mizlabish and Mizmayach, so each the Kalim are different. So mitzad that, the degree of this Achdus, the degree of Skashas the Eibishter is different, one Yid to another Yid. But mitzad the Nekuda of the Neshama is Mushash Navaya Echad, there's one Nekuda of Bittul to the Eibishter higher than Sir. And so that Nekuda, all Neshamas are Bashva, so the Nekuda which is higher than Sir. That's in Pashtus. Here we're saying that Rosh Hashanah, there's the Achdus of all Yidden. Why is there the Achdus of all Yidden? Because the Alter Rebbe says, Atem Nitzavim, because the Neshama, the way it is, mitzad the Sheirish, is Nizgala. But so if the reason why there's Achdus is because the Neshamas are Mis'ale in their Sheirish, so then it should be Nizbato the Chilik of Reshechem, Shiftechem, and Zeknechem, and all these things. If the mitzad the Neshama, the way it's Melubash and Gof, mitzad the Keshevi to the Eibishter, the way it's Mislabish and Izmayach, in Seichel and Midas is Eschalkos. Seichel and Midas is different. Mitzad, what is the Ach? Mitzad Sheirish Nafshem Ba'avaya Echad, mitzad the Nekudas Nefesh, it's Mushash in Ein Seif, in Havaya, there's Achdus. So mitzad Havaya, there's no chilik between Reshechem, Shiftechem. The matter of Reshechem, Shiftechem is that they have a higher level of Asagah. Mashik Nechayte Vitzech have no Asagah. But the Kulchem, which is the fact that all Yidden are Ba'achdus, that's mitzad the fact that it's Nizbatel the Chilukim. It's Nizbatel the Tziyurim. So here, we come to Zanatim Nitzavim, we're speaking about the Achdus of all Yidden. And there the pasuk is Madgish, Reshechem, Shiftechem, all the Chilukim Dargish between Yidden. So the Rebbe brings here, that's the Chiddush, the Achdus of Rosh Hashanah. It says, Afshe Pelet kan Esem Madrigas, Reshechem, Shiftechem, Atshevim Echa, Mikom Madrigas Elu, Kulchem Lachadim Ke'echad. You know, the Rebbe teaches, Hainu, Leir Akshem Sadik Giddush Shalmayla Mesachtam, not only that the Yisod for the Achdus is, because this is Gala Hecher Inyan, we will say Api Pashtus. Mitzad the Neshama, the way it's Melubash Lamata, there's this Chalkos. This one's Reish, and this one is only able to carry water, this one knows that the Hak holds, and he's not Shaykhas Tasaga, there's Chiluk Edargas. B'shas is Gal the Shadish, the way Yidden are Mushash in Ein Seif, there's no Chalkos. Here we're saying Fakert. Here the Uftu is the Gam Kamei Shehem Lamata, even the way that the Neshamas are Melubash Beguf, and each Guf has his own seer, even there in that form, even the way that the Neshamas are Lamata, L'chor there should be Chalkos there. Still, him is Achtam Lachadim Ke'echad. That's the Rebbe saying, but that's the Uftu. So the end's going to be that's taka the mile of the Achdus, the way it is inside the Etzem. Since if the mitzad the of mitzad of Gili, so the Achdus is only mitzad the Hergesh Apshitus, only mitzad the fact that there's a higher realm of reality being Nizgala, and the Tzir is Nizbata. Because the Shoshan is the Shoshan is this Galus Etzem, mitzad the Etzem doesn't have this Hagdara that the Achdus is dependent on the fact that there's Pshitus. Mitzad the Nekudas Ha'etzem, even in the way Yidden are, each one are say, in their own seer, in their own guf, they're all Besachdus also. The Esachdus is not limited to Dafke Mitzad the fact that there is no Agbalas. Even in each person's seer, in each person's Agbalah, there's it's Kulchem Lachadim Kechad. That we'll see Behemshech. Al Derech, like we're saying when we get to the Nekuda of Rosh Hashanah, the Maamarim before, the fact that you're able to have his Gilei Lukus in a Velt which is Hefsik, and a Velt which is Manutik. So mitzad is not shaykh to bring a lakus to a place which is detached from the Eibishter. Because itself, mitzad, what is connected to the Makar? Because the is galus to the Makar. It comes behemshech to the Makar. So the Gabi let's say in the Pasha that I'm called Peil is Peil a Pu'ula Kedugmase. So the is only able to be a Peil as galus to lakus als a nivra which is a keving to lakus, a nivra which comes behemshech to lakus. Mashikin elements which are behefsik, in the Nekud of hefsik, it's not shaykh to be gilui. Mitzad will be nisbatal the hefsik. Be nisbatal the hell of a machas. But that the elam is the way the arm mitzvah is detached from the Eibishter, which is neveh mitzad kaya. That dir should be gilui the course. That's not shaykh inside the getter of it, because is gilui, but it has this akbala that only contains within itself. The etzem, the way the etzem is shaykh to gilui. That means the way the etzem is connected to some form of getter, some form of agdara. The way the etzem is a makkah for gilui. And in order to bring his galus olakus to a place which is totally detached, that's dafke mitzad the etzem which is beyond agdara. And mitzad that Inyan of olakus is not limited to be dafke in a form of pshitis or ruchnis. Even in a world which is behefsik, also there is able to be harigish olakus. There's the Rebbe say negabi achtas also. The mitzad batan teira, mitzad Inyan of earth, the achtas is because you're attached to something higher. You're not limited. Mashayik mitzad the etzem, the fact that the Yidden are mushish and atzmos, and that Indian, the Yidden are one, even the way they are in a form of which in each one melubash in his guf. Each one melubash has his keiches. The same nekuda with the Rebbe saying in the last time. Yeah, that's not in I'm just saying this. Not stam Matan Torah Shoshana. That's the Teichen Advar. Mashik Matan Torah. Oh, so here the Rebbe is going to ask it as a sign of a shayla. So I'm saying the Ardichis Matan Torah is basically going to represent the nekuda of Er. That's basically the nekuda of the So Shoshana we say that there's achtas kulchem, and kulchem even though the kulchem is not because the neshama is nisbatal the tzir, but even the way they are mugbal in their tzir, this one is hasage, this one is midis, this one is ma'aseh. There's the hergish that they're all one nekuda. It's not separate in yana. There's all one nekudas in kulchem lachadim keechad. Mash'ekem matan Torah. So I was going to say matan Torah in the av hashem b'yer davay alar Sinai. Even though matan Torah, there was this. When was that time where there was this galus of the yana, the way they are mitzad momayla? The way we understand the Parsha Sadvar, without Torah says in Tanya, mitzad the neshama there is melubash guf, mitzad the keshe the Eibusher the way it's mislabish and seichel and midis, mitzad that there's this chalkas. Mitzad the sheirish, mitzad the neshama is the way they are mushish and ein sof, mitzad that all yidden are one nekuda subshitas. In which zman was nisgala the inyana the way they are mitzad lamayla? That's Matan Torah. Matan Torah was v'yer davay alar Sinai. So the reality, the way it is mitzad al yoinim was nisgala. So the chora, where should have been more than musik of achtos? Mitzad Matan Torah. Matan Torah is this galas al kus lamayla. So it's this gal that the sheirish, the havaya, the way Yidden are mitzad a higher form, not to mitzad the slapshus beguf. So there's this battle all the chilukim, and there all Yidden are one nekuda, a bittul to the Eibusher, higher than Tamadas, higher than Agbalas. It says, Mashek Matan Torah nafshi wer da alar Sinai, shegid shomad hay beli yischalkus, but after we came, we see Matan Torah wasn't shelu yischalkus, even though mitzad lamayla. It was a gidei of bleak vol of ein seif. Hini lamata yikama v'kama chilukim. Meishim mechitzu b'fnei asmi, Aaron mechitzu b'fnei asmi, v'chulu. Oh, so chod etzrich liis hebech advar. Matan Torah haya gilum amayla. V'yer davay lar Sinai. Matan Torah, this galus was the inyanim amayla weren't as gal, and mitzad amayla there's no eschalkus. The case Matan Torah is gzeira ufrata shekala in Matan Torah ubitla gzeira mitzad amayla means, but Matan Torah the world was functioning the way it is mitzad alakus. And not stam alakus, the way alakus is in the shtalshlos. The way alakus is beyond the shtalshlos. Matan Torah was his gal vayer davaya, and Matan Torah was in a bit like zera. Bit like zera was inside mamayla. A nivra doesn't have a kayach to mevatel the hefsik between elamis and alakus. The bit like zera was mitzad alakus, which is higher than sezer shtalshlos. So the whole inyan of Matan Torah was a zgalus and a puula. It was a zgal involved the way the inyanim are mitzad alakus shalamayla mishtalshlos. Okay, the Matan Torah is like zera shliach ibral yinav techteirim. Matan Torah bit like zera, and the bit wasn't mitzad lamayla. So l'chura ebazei vuot gedar zayin mer bittul atzir bittul ischalkus the herigesh that all yidden are one nekuda. That's l'chura mitzad Matan Torah. Matan Torah there was this galus, there was the herigesh of inyanim the way it is mitzad ein sof. Mitzad ein sof there should have been the nekuda of bittul ischalkus. L'pel b'sifar kert that there was Aaron mechitz b'fnei asmi, Eshim mechitz b'fnei asmi. Then there was this weiter. Chem said another thing. Mitzad inin not only mitzad Matan Torah, mitzad inin Torah. Here it's not so ezgetesh, but l'chura also the nekuda is. Rosh Hashanah is the nekuda of mitzvah. Mitzvah saying b'shefer, it's the nekuda of mitzvahs. Mash'ekem Matan Torah is the nekuda of Torah. And mitzad Torah should have been more than the nekuda of shlilas eschalkus. And mitzvahs is more nice and mucking for eschalkus. Saying al derech, I'm just saying the same sprach we're going to say, how we start off when we get to Er and Shem. That l'chura is galus amor, and the Rebbe is mafli the mile of and l'chura Shem is garnished. Shem is just asis. You can't tell anything from the one that you're being carried with Shem. And l'chura Shem is a much lower inyan, and dafkin Shem is connected to etzem ways beyond gilus. Al derech that the Rebbe is saying here, l'chura Matan Torah is a much higher inyan. So first of all, Matan Torah is a gilim amaylam. Shekin Shoshana is all the aveda vayid. The Rebbe brings later. Shoshana is all the aveda malmata. So the chura vuot gedar zayin more the inyan of hedera ischal, because dafkin mitzad the gilim amaylam, not mitzad aveda sodom. When the Aveda is mitzad the Metzias Sa'adam, so each person does the Aveda by Fanacher. There should have been Tachlis Eschalkus. So Al Derech is mitzad the inyan of Torah and Mitzvahs itself. But mitzad inyan of Torah atzim. Harei Torah l'mayla mi'eschalkus. Kedu hefesh min Torah l'mitzvahs. Ramach mitzvahs is connected to Eivarim, which each Eivar is different. Yesh mi'eschalkus. Each Eivar is the Chassidus is Benvayr. Why are you calling them Eivarim? Because each Eivar has its own different texture, different tchunis. This Eivar is karvelach, this Eivar is yavish. Each Eivar has different tchunis. It's not bashva. Each Eivar is different. And now there's a mitzvah. Each mitzvah is different, a different type of mitzvahs. This is chesed, this is gvura, this is every mitzvah has his teichen. And v'yesh b'im kamem medidas v'agbolas. Al derech some mitzvahs is chalkos, and al derech there's different agbolas and mitzvahs. There's mitzvahs kulam mechiyav min, there's mitzvahs kulam mechiyav min, there's mitzvahs noshim, melech. There's medidas. Shezeu am medidas v'agbolas mitzvahs shemitzat Yisrael. V'yesh medidas v'agbolas mitzvahs shalamatim Yisrael. And mitzvah tluim is manomakim. Shemedidas zush mitzvahs man v'amakim. Elamatim am medidas v'chalkos shemitzat Yisrael. Ki Yisrael le'mayla me'elam. The calls over the Achim mitzvah shem dugmas ha'ramachi varim. Shkol even mecholek l'solasi. The Rebbe is in other places. The nukud of a mitzvah is not. The Rebbe is saying in Pashat where we see that mitzvahs are nyanim which are connected to Agbala. Each mitzvah has its tchunis, has Agbalas, it has this. It relates to time. It's Krishma is in the morning, so Krishma relates to the Agbalas of Elam Hazar. There's morning, there's night. So mitzvah is the ini which is malubish in Velt, which has to do with the Agbalas of Velt. It's malubish in a yid and it relates to the tzir of a yid. And therefore, a nashim and a nashim are different because it's different tziyurim, and the mitzvah relates to the tziyurim of this mitzvah and that mitzvah. Mashiach in the Kovetz of Torah doesn't relate to the mitzvahs. The Rebbe's masber in the Makar Advarim, mitzvahs. The whole idea of mitzvah is that the Eibusher is giving a tzivit to a person. You're commanding someone to do something. If the mitzvah so Adam is not a mitzvah, you're relating to the nivra. If the nivra doesn't exist, and it's the alien the way Lakus is batzmusri, so there's no mitzvahs. There's him. A mitzvah is that the alien it's negate to how the Tachten conducts himself and how he's using different things. So the whole idea of mitzvahs is the way Lakus is mashpil himself to deal with and to get involved with to matter what a person does matters. That's already a darga of tzimtzum. Inside that darga, there's the fact that he cares about a person's head, the fact that he cares about his hand. This type of person, that type of person, there's just chalkus. If you're dealing not the way Lakus is about tzimtzum, Lakus is mitzam, he's mashpil himself to deal with and to care about and to that it's negeya vider mensch vider how the am firza. So there's chalukim in the Medina, there's chalukim in the people, and b'meila there's chalukim also in the chalukim in the mitzvahs because the fact that it relates to the person's hanhaga and his yad is anders. It relates to the person's hanhaga and his mitzvahs is chalkas. Mashiach in the Kovetz of Torah, dugmas hadam. Shteit Chassidus that Torah is like dam. And Torah you don't say the lashon that it's ivar in the market. It's kaviyachol like the dam of the Eibusher. In dam there's no eschalkus. A mamshech is a chayes be'ivarim shu b'chol ivarim mishav. In dam there's no eschalkus. In the ivarim there's eschalkus. In dam there's no eschalkus. So al derech zeh Torah is made on a darga and a lukus which is beyond the tzir of elements. The way the Eibusher is higher than Seder Shalshus. And even though Torah also speaks about vel, even though Torah speaks about vel, but the darga of Torah is not. You say the Shnai Merchs and Metalis l'mashal. The Torah is not a darga and a lukus which relates to the mitzias of Metalis. It's a lukus. The lukus is beyond. Before there was in mitzvah. Apayim shana kadmon Torah lo'elam. The darga of Torah is before there was the sabas mitzvahs. Shnei Merchs and Metalis says it's oliver tzedem chachmatzah shakadosh baruch hu that ili yitzur there would be a talis. The Torah says in Tanya im yitir ruven kach yeh psakach. There's no ruven yet. Only b'chachmatzah shakadosh baruch hu that lu yitzur there'll be a mitzvahs of Ruven and Shimon, and there'll be a tzir of a fight. The chacham is mechayev they should be achleikum. There's no mitzias yet of a fight. There's no mitzias yet of a talis. There's no mitzias there's only his chachma. His chachma is machayah that if there would be such a phenomenon, then the halach would be kach v'kach. But the nekudas of the varim is inside the dargin of lakus. Torah is a higher dargin of lakus before there's the mitzias. The way the Eibusher is batzmusay. And mitzad that darga, there's the pshittus of a lakus. So there's no yachas to this chakas of makam uzman. There's no you can't say there's a chiyuv Torah by night and by day. There's no gather of night and day like a Torah. It's the lakus is before this whole gather of night and day, and an noshim and noshim. The Kovetz of Torah is chachmatzah shel Hakadosh Baruch Hu the way it is ba'atzmusay, and mitzad that Indian there's no eschalkus of tzir, no eschalkus of mitzvahs. So salderech dam. So here the Rebbe it sounds like it's derech haga, but it's not derech haga. We'll see that it's connected to the whole raid of here. But once the Rebbe brings a Torah as bedugmas dam, so the Rebbe farterayin as amas certain. We'll see what's the kesher inyan. There was like this. Once we brought out a reason look at the Torah. That mitzvah is a var and Torah is dam, and dam is the keli to the chayis. In chayis there's no eschalkus. You can't say that one aver is more alive than the other aver. And it could only be eschalkus in something which is a davar madud mugbal. But it's something which is pshitis, you can't say eschalkus. Certain things you can't have more or less of it. If you have this nekuda, you have it fully. But the nekuda is there's certain you can't have seichel. You can have a vested svara, a kleiner svara, more or less. But then you have inyanim that are you can't have you can't have a little bit of blig vol. Because if it's a little bit, then it's blig vol. You can't have a little bit of ein seif. a little bit. If you have this mohos, so this ain't safe. You have ain't safe. There's you have chayis is the etzem of an inyan. That's chayis. Chayis is not a certain koyach that the nefesh possesses. Chayis is his mohos. That's what chayis is. The mohos adav. You have the extensions of it. You have its levushim. You have its koyches. Then you have it's primus. What's its life? What's its mohos? So if you have, you kind of have a little bit of it. If you're connected to the mohos, you're connected to the mohos. So you have that in you. There's no little bit of it. You could have something that you could divide it as a metzias. You say seichel is a metzias. You could have a little seichel, more keichadibur, less keichadibur. This is say what's the pnimius of what's the mohos of this whole being? What's the pnimius behind this whole being? The chayis is the pnimius and nefesh. There's not shy to say a little bit of it. It's not a davar mischalik. But Kaplan, the nekuda is that the Rebbe is going to go. The Rebbe says, Azam says, the Rebbe says like this. Heder is chakal shebedam v'chayis hu gam kamei shebo b'slav shezvar m'chayis. Shegam oz in hefesh ben adam v'chay shebereish l'adam v'chay shebeis b'regel. Ve'ein zek mepshit seiris. The af shesh mitzad atzmi mipshutim. Let's keep a line. Mikom kim mitzlav shusim b'kelim mitztayim mayal. Rebbe says Azam says you have two efanim in pshitis basically, beif and clothing. We'll see how this comes behemshich, but the Rebbe goes into to stick a few lines about this. But the nekuda is that the Chizis state that it says in Kabbalah that in Kabbalah states that there's the Eidos are pshutim and the Kedem are mitzuyar. Tzir is the famous of the Eidos, Masheg and the Eidos are pshutis. As they state. Now, through the mitzad slapshes of the Eir bekelim, so the Eir is nitztayer in the tzir of the kelim. As they state. So the Eir mitzad atzmi is pashut, and mitzad slapshes in kelim, the Eir is mitztayer in the tzir of the kelim. So the tzir doesn't stem from the Eir, so to speak. The tzir stems from the kelim, but through the slapshes of the Eir bekelim, the Eir is mitztayer. As they state. So everyone wants to bring out here that the fact that Torah is in pshitis is not as that sort of pshitis al derech the pshitis of Eidos, which the pshitis of Eidos, even though it's beyond Shiur, but it's shaykh, it's misugol to mekabel the Shiur. Mashiach, the pshitis of Torah is not even shaykh as the Shiur, and it's misbaten then that even when it's mislavish in the Ivarim, it stays a pshitis. So the nekuda is just what's the dogma chassidus for what the Rebbe is saying here even though it's in pshitis, but it's the slapshis bekelim b'shaykh tzir. But they have lemashal that chassidus brings a dogma of Shmai that Shmai v'Avtalyin, Shami and Hillel learned the Shmai v'Avtalyin. The same Rav. Ava became the Poil. Shammai was Kava Gvura, and Hillel was Kava Chesed. Machlekes. The question is, if they both were Kava from the same Rav, they heard the same Svar from Shmai v'Avtalyin. How did each one hear different Svaras? This one heard a Svar which is Mechayiv Chesed. This one heard a Svar which is Mechayiv Gvura. Different Svaras. So the teretz is that the Svara, the way it was heard by Shmai v'Avtalyin, was mufshit from the tzir of Chesed Gvura. But as Asar, what's Peter was mufshit? That it's able to suit side with Chesed and side with Gvura. Both tsirim are able to. The Svar is able to be misgal in both ifan. Just the dogmas, the shver dogma a little bit. But the Chassidus dogma is that you say that you have the gedank that Yetzer Leva Adam Ram Min Urav. A person when he's born is Min Urav already has Yetzer Hara. So there can be two svaras that come from this gedank. There's the idea. The idea is Yetzer Leva Adam Ram Min Urav. Doesn't mean anything the chiv or the shlita. Then you can say the svar in two ways, or you can say because Yetzer Leva Adam Ram Min Urav, therefore you can't blame him. What are you going to blame him for and punish him? So lechatchila Min Urav already has Yetzer Hara. The other way of saying it is because Yetzer Leva Adam Ram Min Urav. So then there's what's the point of having him? So the concept itself is not this type. The idea of Yetzer Leva Adam Ram Min Urav, that's the svara, the way it is b'pshetusah. Then this svara could say suit as a svara of chesed. It can also be as a svara of gvura. So you have an Indian which is on one hand it's mufshit from the tzir of chesed gvura, but l'idach it's azam is pshitis. It could suit with both tzir. It's not a pshitis that stays beyond tzir. The pshitis b'shteitin then that he could suit in any form. That's how derech the pshitis of Eidos. So the Eidos on one hand are mufshatim from the kelim are chesed gvura. The Eidos pushes from the tzir of chesed gvura of the kelim. But even though it's pshitis, idea it's a slapshus in the kelim, the Eidos is able to be and suit with the form. It can become an eira chesed, an eira gvura. Mitzad Atzmi, the Eir is not Eir Leches Lever Agvura. Mitzad Atzmi, the Svar of Shmaya was a Svar of Pshuta. The concept itself of Yisrael Adam Ram and Urah. But this concept could be mitztayer as a Svar of Din, because Yisrael Adam Ram and Urah, we have to, there's no point of having him. And this same idea could be in a slavish and become a Svar of Gvura. So that's a pshitis, that's an which could be in a Isgala, and the could suit. He's able to be misached with the tzir of the keli. In other words, the tzir of the keli is able to express this and the is able to be mitztayer according to this tzir. So everyone wants to bring out that the pshitis of Torah, the fact that Torah is medugmas dam, the nekud of dam is, even the way the dam is cheder and the ivarim, the dam is never mitztayer according to the ivarim. It's not like you say when you get to the mashal and the nefesh, you have the keich hatnu shaviyah, the keich hariyah mitzad the nefesh itself is a keich ruchni. And the fact that he's able to see Gashmi is a good thing is that's Nevea mitzad the Keli. It's not Nevea mitzad the Keach. You know, the fact that the Nefesh, the Keach Hariyah, is able to see Adavar Gashmi, it's not Nevea because the Keach Hariyah contains within itself a Gashmi is the Ketchunis. Keach Hariyah is a Keach Ruchni. It's a slapshus in the eye. Through it's a slapshus in the eye. So the mitzad is a slapshus in the eye. It's kind of these Tchunis of Gashmis. You say a Svara, there's a svara, and the way the Talmud understood it, mitzad is achtos with the keli, so the is mekabel certain tchunis based on the keli that is in slabishim. Not that the mitzad atzmi contains these qualities. So you have a certain nekuda of pshitas, even though the mitzad atzmi is not shaychus to the tzir of the keli, but through his slapshus, he's able to be in his gal according to that tzir. He's able to relate to that tzir, and that tzir is able to express him. That's not the amitas of pshitas. That's a pshitas that Shiur is able to bring out. The Rebbe wants to bring out here that Torah is the amitas of pshitas. Ain't stuff the way in stuff is mufshit legamri from Shiur. And since you say the mashal of ratzin, say a person wants something. So ratzin is the meshichas and nevesh a certain inyan. You're not going to say that as a person that when a person wants a cup of water, or a person wants chachma, so the ratzin is mishtana according to the inyanim that he wants. The mahus of ratzin itself always stays the same ratzin. So seichel, a person wants, if a person understands a chvesa edel chachma, you're not going to say it's exactly the same seichel. Here, it's an edel topic, and this is a more technical topic. You're learning how to build. So it's the same svaris, the same seichel. Sachakal, the topics are different. According to the topic, that's the nature of the seichel is going to be. If it's a seichel hamaisa, it's going to be svaris that are more on a level of maisa. And if you're talking about a seichel chachmas hanefesh, it's going to be edel svaris. It's not the same svaris. It's just what type of topics you're using. The svaris relate to the kelim through which the svaris are being brought out. So if the kelim are lower kelim, the inyan is mizgala through these svaris. Mashek and ratzin never relates to the prat. You say if a person wants water, so there's a ratzin which is connected to water, and the ratzin which is connected to edel azach. The things that he wants might be different. The ratzin is the same nefesh. There's one nefesh. The nefesh doesn't suit itself according to this tzir or that tzir. There's one etzem of the person, which is beyond the tzirim of the chveis edel azach and grav azach, and that nefesh wants. Nefesh is the meshichas hanefesh to something. If it's the meshichas hanefesh, the same way the nefesh itself is not mislavish in an Indian. He's not mitztayer according to the tzir of this or that. His mohus is pashut. So the nefesh, which is meshichas hanefesh, the I want. So the same way the I itself is never is going to be mishtanis tzir based on this edel azach or grav azach. There's his me, whatever his etzem is. Al der said the ratzin is never mischal. So the chilik is if we're dealing with an Indian of pshittis, a certain without going into the pratim of but if we're dealing with a certain Indian of not this galas hamakar kameshu, it's not the etzim kameshu and this galas hamakar. It's eidis which have to do with a certain darga already, certain seer. By them is shayach that through slapshus and kelim the should be mistayir according to the kelim. Like I said when they get to the keiches, seichel through the slapshus and mayach, seichel could be mishtana and can be nisgala through a mayach gashmi, or the keich hariyah can be misgashim. Mashik in the nefesh itself, the mohos nefesh is the mohos nefesh. That's not mislavish. That doesn't come behesin to something else. That's his mohos. His mohos is what his mohos is. So the air which called inyani is this galasam makar kfishihi. There's no tzir of air. There's no inyan of pshittis. There's the makar which is ein sof, and the makar is begili. The makar is galus. There, it's not shaykh to say that through a slapshus and kalim, he'll be mitzayir according to the kalim. The kelim are only able to be mitzayir. Tzir is only able to be chalan an inyan, which is an inyan michutz la'etzem. It's a certain inyan, so through the slapshus and kelim, this inyan can be brought out in a different way. Or chachma could express this inyan. The etzem itself is pashut. The etzem is Ein Sof. Ein Sof, you can't say that b'shas the Ein Sof is mislavish and chachme. The etzem is bound by tzir. That's kamen rizog. The keicharia could be mislavish and ayin and see physical things. The etzem hanefesh is not going to become in a form of the etzem is Ein Sof. If a keich of the nefesh, a certain inyan, you could see it this way, you could see it that way. You could limit it, or it could be nisgala through a certain seer. The etzem is the inyan kamei shehu ba'atzmusay. The inyan kamei shehu ba'atzmusay is not shaykhs to. You're changing it around. It's already not it. You're not. That's not this galus the erkvi which is b'chinas gilei etzem. So ratzon is not shaykhs to say that the ratzon should be mischalik according to different things. Ratzon is not is the way the nefesh itself wants something. There's not shaykh to say chalkus. So they're saying when you're saying that Torah is dam, that Torah is even the way the nakud of dam is the keli for the chayis itself. There is the keiches hanefesh. There's the nefesh itself. There's the keiches hanefesh, and that's taka mishtana according to the Yavarim. Then there's the etzem hanefesh itself. That's the chayis hanefesh, and the chayis that's melubash in the dam. The dam is the keli for that you say circulates the chayis nefesh b'chol yivar. The chayis is one mahos which is not shaykhis this chalkus. It's not shaykh to have a little bit of the etzem. It's not shaykh. And chayis is the amshachas etzem in the whole guf. If there's no, it's not shaykhis chalkus. Versteht the meaning? So they're saying here that you'll see the Torah is not stam as a Torah is the which kol inyan is the galas hamakir. Not an which is already shaykhis to the tzir of chacham v'chesed. Which is an area which is shaykh that you should be mislavish in kelim, and the kelim should be able to express this air. It's the air which kol inyani is not a mitzvah. It's inyani is galas ha'eser. Huh? What's means begashmis? Er Hashemesh. That what? Er Hashemesh is also the same thing. Er Hashemesh can't be mitzvah. Er Hashemesh is a mhus pashut. The air itself, you could see it in different colors, but the air itself can never become. I'm saying when we're saying the mashal of Pshitas, we're saying the svara of Shmai V'Aftalion, the svara itself could come in a form of chesed. This concept of Yitzhak Adam and Aminu Urav could be a svara which is mechayiv din. It's not just that the svara stays Pshitas, and then you could see it through. You see with the mashal of chesed, when you get to the light itself stays Pashit. You say Ratzin, a person can want water, a person can want to learn. That's something else. But the Ratzin itself doesn't change its form based on the things that he wants. You have the same light. You could go through a red glass and a green glass. The light itself is going to stay the same. The light doesn't relate to the color. The light itself is going to stay the same. When you say when you get the seichel, you're saying the svara of Yitzhak Adam and Amen it itself could be a svara of din. This svara could be a svara which is mechayiv. That there's no worth din, or it could be a svara which is mechayiv chesed. This svara could be nisgala in two ways. You understand what I'm saying? Not that the svara stays pshitis and we could see it through red and we could see green. Light, there's never really a red light. There's light, and there's a color of the light could penetrate anything. It's something else, but it's not that the light is expressed through red or through green. You say when you get to Keicharia, for example, the Keicharia sees now a Gashmi thing. So the Keicharia was transformed. It's the Gashmi. It's able to be nisached with a Keli Gashmi, and it's able to adapt itself and to express itself through Gashmi things. So you can have a pshitis, even though it itself is pashut, it can adapt itself to this tzir and to that tzir. When you speak about adapting, you're speaking about a certain inyan which is not the his galus hamakir kameshi. It's an inyan which could be adapted. A kayach, you could adapt a kayach. You could be Meir more than nefesh or vinzikar than nefesh. A air which kol inyan is this galus hamakir kameshi who is not shaykh to say his chalkus, or not shaykh to say tzir. It's not shaykh to say that it's able to be expressed in a lower darga. So the reason why it's not shaykh, the whole nikud of Torah is there's a makir. There's galus of the makir. That's what Torah is. Not the makir, not the air which is the darg of air is pshutim. We'll see later. Is not amitis in nagili. It's not this galus hamakir kameshi. Amitis in a very main amar. It's a lower darg of air, which is already shaykhs to a certain inyan, a certain seer. Not just this galus of the makir. There's a certain mitzias which expresses the makir, and that mitzias you could adapt it. You could be neslavish in kelim. Rebbe wants to bring out here that l'chura, since the whole matan Torah and Torah b'chlal is a darg of air which is his galas hamakir, so misad there should have been hepechayis chalkas misad Torah. And that, there should have been that mitzvah in the Achtos. That's the but we'll see how it relates to the whole in of Eris and the Shem. I just read it first. Heder es chag shvadam v'chayis v'gam k'mi shuvah b'slav shezivor v'chayis. Shegam oz ein hefesh bin adam v'chayis sheberish adam v'chayis shebetz v'regel. It says ve'ein zek mei pshitas ha'eris. The av she'eris v'zadatz mim pshutim steht in Kabbalah that even though the whole shak v'tari exactly if the spheres are in the air, the spheres are in the kelim, but the achrav chassidus is that even though the air mitzad atzmei is pashut, Rafa became mitzad slavshus v'kelim, there's a tzir in the air. So there's two shittas that gabi. Lemi be'el ha'shittas she'eris pshutim. So that's for sure that the whole Indian Atzir is Nevea Mitzad is Slapshus and Kelim. Yeah, that's our shita. The Marech is that the Erem Mitzad is Poshet B'Tachlis, and the whole concept of Tzir is Nevea Mitzad Shem Elikim, Mitzad Helen. Mitzad the Tnu of Gilei, there's no Nekud of Tzir. It is the Izgalus HaMakim. This degree, that degree, but it's Nekud is the Izgalus HaMakim. Mitzad the Tnu of Gilei, there's no Chacham Chesed, there's no Tzir. Tnu of Gilei is Pshitis. The whole concept of Chacham Chesed is on the Ve'em, it's at Kelim, which Kelim stem from the Kav of Helim, of Gvul. It's at Keich HaGvul, there's a Nekud of Chacham Chesed. And besides the and then there's the concept of Eslapshus Eiris B'Kelim. It's another union. That the Eiris Mislapshus Kelim, through the Eslapshus, the Eiris Misgala through the Tzir HaKelim. It's not Chayin. You see, the concept of Gashmias comes from the Ayin. The Nefesh itself doesn't, you see, Keich Hariyah is the Nefesh's Keich. The Nefesh doesn't contain Gashmias. So the Nefesh's Keich Hariyah is a Keich Hariyah Ruchni. But the poil, the vanage stamp the gashmic aspect from the klei guf, from the guf, which is not a nekud of nefesh. It's a mitzias of a guf, a keli. But the nefesh is able to be mislavish in that keli, and the nefesh is able to be in isgala through the tchunas of the guf. So there is say the ma'ila. The isgala solukus misadatz with Eibusher is ain't safe. Isgala solukus misadatz is pshitis, and the Indian of chacham v'chesed stems from kelim, from gvul. But the Eir is able through the slapshus the Eir bekeli, the Eir can be in isgala through the form of the keli. It can be Eir HaChacham and Eir HaChesed. So one shita is a pshutim. Gam la shita she'eris inim pshutim, even according to the shita that holds that the Eir Guf is Eir HaChacham and Eir HaChesed. That in the mitzad gilei mitzad atzmi there's the tzir of Eir. But al v'kein is a whole different gather of tzir than the tzir of keil. It's pshutim the gabi akeil. Going into the pratim here. But the nekudas advarim is that the kula alma, the Indian of Eir is pshitis. Even the shita that holds that there's a musik of tzir in Eir, it's not a gather of tzir because the nekud of Eir is the Izgalus HaMaker. The market is Ein Sof. So the Nekud of Tzir is all a prat in Ein Sof. There's never a Nekud of Chacham v'Chesed. The Nekud of Chacham v'Chesed is an entity for itself. Chacham v'Chesed, Gvura Teferes, that's all Mitzad HaKelim. The Tzir, the way it is Mitzad Eir, is all, it is Gilei HaMakir. Gilei HaMakir is Gilei Etzem, which is Ein Sof. It's always a Nekud which is connected to Pshittas. But Afa Bekein, Bislap Shusim Bekelim, Him Mitztayim Al Yodam. Mitzad HaTzir, Shubha Kelim, Chacham v'Chesed, Nastet Tzir Gam Be'eres HaMislap Shemem. Means, not Stama say that the Eir is like you say the marshal by the Eir HaShemesh, which you see the red, green, and the yellow. So the Eir itself is not mikabel that tzir. Here we're saying that there's mitzad the tzir hakelim nas the tzir gam be'eres mislapshem be. Al derech yisem neged the Keich Hariyah. The Keich Hariyah sees gashmistic things. How does the Keich Hariyah see gashmistic things? Because the gdorim of the ayin hagashmi are nikne in the Keich Hariyah. It's you say. It's misgal in such a if the Keich Hariyah is able to express itself through the properties of Gashmis. So that's al der slav she'eres bekelim the Eir is mekabel the tzir hakelim. Oh, shekam Eir is nikum shem Eir Chacham Eir Chesed. Well, if you shakel megal masayis because the keli the Chachma the Eir is expressed through the keli. So that's our leading of Eir with such a hotzatan which is not the Gilei HaMakir Kamei Shiur. That's not going into the problem. What I wants to bring out here is that the Indian of Torah is the air which calling Yoni is Gilei HaMakir. The air which has no mitzvahs outside of the fact that the Makar should be Nizgala, and that air is not shaykh to say tzir. Because the Makar is Ein Sof, the Makar is never any which is Gvul, and the air which calling Yoni is Nizgala HaMakir is not shaykh to Indian of tzir. So the air is the Tachlis is Galas Ein Sof which is shaykh. The other kotza than Rosh Hashanah, than mitzvahs. This is all the Indian which you learned. Yeah, the Indian was part of the Shaila. This is all part of a question. According to the Solar Riches, but in Torah should have been Bitla Ischal. But Rosh Hashanah is so. This is all part of the case. Just like this. The Indian who the Hine. That's a very interesting zach here. It says Amal Chastikar b'Shem Kli Keich b'Shem. Called out B'chinas Elu and B'chlolis Indian Echad. Le'es Ata the Nekuda is that the Nekuda of Malchus is, the way the Rebbe teaches here, bringing a Lukus should be Nizgala to a Nivra, which is Michutz to Lukus. That's the Nekuda of Malchus. So, the Nekuda of what the Rebbe means here, not as in the sense, this Galus HaMakir. Is his Galus Lukus to a Nivra, which is Zula, outside of the Etzim of Lukus. That's the Nekuda of Malchus. And we can skip these lines for a second. Let me again just. These few lines give us a better. In the Kenu Gam Regel that Khanis Kli Kach Veshem Shebchos in Nachat. Wo in Nagili. Shalchen Amachos Shinyan Gili Nikras Bedal Shem Seal. Machos Shinyan is Gili in the sense not Nish with the Rebbe Zak the Maamarim before. Gili is this Galus HaMokir. The Rebbe Tash the Maamarim in Zayim. Gili means that through the you have a car in the Mokir, the Etzem. Through the and Nair, you know that in the is nicker if the Mokir is a Nair or is a Shemesh or is a Levana. So the Kud of Gili is that the doesn't have his own identity. The Kol Inyani is the Isgalus of the Etzem, of the Mokir. And through the you have an awareness in the Mokir. If it's and Nair, you're going to know that you're going to see that it's the Nair which is the Mokir. Here the word of Gili is bring Elikus should be known to Azulas, not the Nikud of what Darga Elikus is known. His Gal, the Nikud of his Galas Elikus to Azulas, the Matthias Shemchutz Elikus, that's the Nikud of Malchus. And say Lamashal Dibur. So till the Kayachat Dibur, the person's also Tutzach Nefesh is within his Nefesh itself. There's no in of his Galas Klapichutz. Vu Heitzachon the Nikuda of that what's going on in the person is also Meir Klapichutz. That begins in Malchus. Shalchem Achas Shinyana Gili Nikras B'Dal the Shem Eselu. Shalfam Nikras B'Shem Ha'Orev. So why is called Erev Mitzad in Gili Sheber? There isn't not the aspect of Gili that the Makir is Nizgala. The Etzem Inin of Gili. The fact that what's the mile of Erev Gabi Etzem? Etzem is the way the Inin is Batzmi Yusei, beyond this Galus, and Eid is that the Inin is often. It's the Inin is Bizgalus. To who it's Bizgalus? That Malchus we're dealing with Bizgalus Klapi Azulas. But the Etzem Inin of Gili, that's the Nikud of that you have Malchus has the Inin of Gili. In the Nikud is the Gili. There's a aimet to the musik of Gili. It's not stam that the ufto of the Gabi Etzem is that this is Gili and this is Helen. The Peltz and which is Mein Amar. That's not the Nikud. It's the fact that we're calling Malchus Balosh and we mean to see the Etzem Inin of Gili. And Gili not versus Etzem, which is Bechla beyond Gili. Gili legabe elikus, the elikus is beyond his galus tazulas, beyond his galus tamitzias, which is outside of elikus. In the Gili shul, fam nikra b'shem kli keich v'shem. So the Rebbe's ikvas negeh here is what's the nikud of kli keich v'shem. V'protius yesh chilik b'nin ha'er l'nakeli keich v'shem. Lamer zeh. She'er mitzad atzmai hu heipach ha'gili. Er mitzad atzmai na mitis in ha'er is that it's beyond Gili. The tev early is never been carried. It means that mitis in ha'er kol inyani is the makir. If kol inyani is the makir, and mitis inyani is heipach, not to be nisgalet to mitzias. The mitis in ha'er is the bittul to the makir. Let's bring it the Hemshcha Nam that wants to bring it here. So mitzad atzmi heipach hagil. Teva holi is nivle b'mkerev u'mitzad v'degeshuvei. It means in the kud of is not inyani is not gili hamakir. Inyani is the makir. That's a mitzvah in ha'er really. That mein amar is that the whole mitzias ha'er is the ein suffer the makir, not an Indian of gili. You have the er is not that it's mitzias is gili, and what is a megal? It's the megal of the makir. The nekud of is it's the makir's glikvul. And it's not that Indian. The mitzvah in ha'er is dveikus and inyani is liis nivla b'mkerev. Yeah, let me just upload na minute, but that's one point. Mash'engin keli keach v'shem shem dveikus built in the keres. In Yonim so they have the mitzias. They're an Indian outside of the market. The Indian is not the market itself. They're a certain function of the market. They're a certain function which stems from the market. Eid is not a certain function from the market. Eid is the Ein Sof of the Etzem itself. Mashing Kli Hashem is a certain koyach which stems from the market. And what's in Yoni of that koyach? So in Yonim Ugili. In Yoni is to bring the nefesh to a certain place, to bring the Etzem to a certain place. You should be nizgad. Shem megalim lamatachol. So you said so the same way we say Beifin Klali, even though we're able to say the word Gili Sadek Gabi Eir and Sadek Gabi Kli Keich Hashem. Beifin Prati Eir is this Galas is a mitzvah in Eir is Dveikus, is Lias Nivla B'Mkerim. Mashenkin in the code of Kli Keich Hashem is Gilui B'Megal Tazulas. But Prati is this was negay here. There's a chilik b'neim between Kli Keich and Shem. Shevish b'neim. Shashem hu b'chinas Helam legamri. Commission is bar little shein meir megal klal l'sharshe. Mashik and kelim him megal maseiris. The kelim him memutze ben l'shem. Shem hu mailum legamri kanal. Va kelim megal maseiris. V'li yesha kelim megal maseiris. The cheneres maslashim megal mayodam him mitztayim mayodam sheirsin kram shemer chacham ve'er chesed. Calls it in Pshittas Eiris. Avshim says in Pshittim in Pshittas Kelim in Stayim. Adam v'chayis megam k'yusav zhevar m'chayis and Rishon b'Pshittas Lishim Schak l'tzir klal. There's a with Rishon Shalom. You see the Emshech Hanyanim. The Rebbe is saying here that we have shame. Shame is tachlis el. You see, shame is in of Isis. Let's say which doesn't express the nefesh at all, and it's not miskul to express the nefesh. Isis is just as mitzias day. It's not like it's tech. You say which there's no inyan nafshi in Isis. They don't express anything of the nefesh, let's say. So a person could be ma'aver a seichel through asis, but the asis itself don't contain a izgalas nefesh. It's not al derech keich hariyah with the ayin. So the keich hariyah, the person which sees gashim as things, the keich hariyah itself is kind of the tziyurim of the ayin agashim. The seichel and the asis never become nesachet. There's words which through them you're conveying a certain message. The words themselves. And the seichel never really, there's no his achtus of these two. Let's focus on what it's saying. The Nekudas is like this: that there's aces, let's say, which are not in nafshi at all, helim etachlis. Then you have keich. Keich on one hand, it's not his galus hanefesh. It's a keich, but it's a keich. It's a mutze between eres and there's two ktsavis, and then there's the dargam. There's which in Yan is the galus hamoker. That's one extreme. The other extreme is a shame, which called Inyani is his almos hamakar, that the makar is b'chal and esgala. Then you have a metzias, which could be a keli to elikus. Not a metzias which is totally detached. That's keich. Keich is a likus. The likus is a tnu of being mahava, a makar for something, a makar for a metzias. But it's a metzias which could express the alienness. He's a keli. He could express the alien in a certain way, and that's the So there's two dargas. There's the tnu of gilui, and then there's a tnu of being a makar for a metzias, which is the tnu of his almas, being a makar for a metzias, which is not the Izgalas HaMakar. And with there's two dargas, and with Kalim there's two dargas, being a makar for a metzias. There's which Kol Inyani is Izgalas HaMakar, and that Indian is beyond Gili, because Kol Inyani is the makar. You have a hell in which Kol Inyani is that the makar detaches himself kavayochel from his and being a makar for a metzias outside of him. That's shame. Not any tnu of Gili. Then you have a darg which is memutze between Eres and Kalim. You have a darg of a metzias, but which is a keli that it could express an Indian of a lukus. Not in Yanivis, that's the derech keich. And then you have the which is the Izgalas Eldin, which could be expressed and be Izgala through Kelim. So they were saying that Matan Torah and Shoshana are two opposites. Matan Torah is the Amitis in an which has no Shaychas Klal to Slapshas and Kelim, the first darga. Amitis in an which called Inyani is no Yachas at all to the Makar, the way is a Makar for a Mitzias, the Izgalas Makar Kameshi. Mashiach Rosh Hashanah is the other Katze, it's shame, it's Aces. It's the Tachten is the ganzen nifrit from the Elyon. So it's the opposite Katze. So l'chura there should have been Tachas HaYischalkos, Mashiach Ben Tereh should have been Tachas HaAchos. So this Nekuda here, there is a darga of a memutze between Eres and Kelim. Here's in Schadash still in the Maamarim before we're learning there's and Helim. There's Gilei and Helim. The evidence in was Mein Amayr, and then there's Helim, which in Inyani is his almos of the Makar, Hefsek, period. Here we're saying there's a darga, the Koyach is not the ultimate period. It's the Makar being a Makar for a Metzias, but it says I'm a certain Metzias which could express a certain mile in the Makar. Say the Papashas when they get to Keiches. The Keiches HaNefesh, so Chachma is not Gilui, it's not Eir HaNefesh, it's not this Galas HaNefesh Kameshi. It's a Metzias, but it's a Metzias which, the way the Nefesh could express himself in a Metzias. It's not this Galas of the Pshitas HaNefesh, it's the fact that the Nefesh is able to express himself in a Metzias. So al derech zeh, you have Eilumis, which are detached from him, a Metzias, and then you have his Pshitas, which is beyond Gili and Gansen. Then you have that he's able to be in his Gala in Eilumis. He's able to be in his Gala in Eilumis is a Memutze. Mitzad Echad, we're dealing not with the Metzias of Eilumis, the way they're detached from him legamri, the way they're based almos. The way Eilumis are able to express in Eliki. You see, there's an aspect in Eilumis which through that, the Gadus of Elukos is able to be in his Gala. Yit sees Marava Masech Hashem, Magodlo Masech Hashem. So you're able to see Gadus of Elukos the way it's expressed in Vel. That's not Vel the way it is Mitzad Helim, Mitzad Shem. It's a world. It's not this Galas of the Ein Sof of Elukos Kameshu. It's the way the Eibush is revealed in a limited way. It's the way the Eibush is revealed in a way that a Mitzvah is able to relate to him. So that's the Memutze. That's the Chabras of Eretz V'Kelim. That's a Mitzvah of Kelim which are able to be a Keli for an It's a Metzias of Chachma v'Chesed which is able to be Megala, a certain inyan of Gadlus Hashem. That's a Mamutza. Then there's the inyan of Eilim, the way it is inside Malchus, the way it is inside Shem, and you have all these inyanim in Malchus. You have the Nekudas Agili of Malchus, you have the Nekudas, the Rebbe is going to say the next time, the Nekudas Advekas of Malchus, you have the Nekuda of his Amos, the Malchus and Hava Metzias, which is Nifrit, and then you have this Havas, where this Hava, which the Eilim is a Keli to bring out a certain inyan of Gadlus Hashem. But the Shoshana, the Umas Matan Teire is the Mitis in Ha'er and the Gabi the Tachtan the way he is b'Mitziyusah. Not the Tachtan as a Keli tell us. Chapt of the meaning, it's that was klar machen. Yeah, Indian body, yeah? It's not clear? No, it's not clear. It's not clear. Okay. I don't know what was not. I touched this. I don't know whose phone is this. I don't know what the cup went, and I saw something was Isgala for a minute, and then I don't know. Currently recording, yeah, so it's still going on. Good. What is this? What's the b'neisik to the other stuff? Good. So what was I saying? So. Afraid when there's not going to be any recordings, we're going to have a hard time talking. Good. Where are we holding now? I'm saying a pashta zach. There is the Indian of Metzias, the way it's legamri detached. A person throwing a stone. A stone doesn't really, there's no any nafshi in a stone. Then you have chachma v'chesed. Then you have ratzon. Ratzon says gas and nefesh kameshi. No Metzias at all. Then you have chachma. It's a Metzias of seichel. It's not, but it expresses the mile of the nefesh. A person through Chachma, you're able to see the Malat HaNefesh. A person can have the Chveis, what type of svaris he's machadish, what type of feelings he has. Av is a Metzias. It's not the Pshitas HaNefesh. It's not like Ratzim, which is the Etz HaNefesh Kameshu being Nizgalo. Av is a certain Metzias, but it's not a Metzias which is totally detached. Through this Metzias, you're able to have a glimpse of the Nefesh is able to be Nizgala through this Metzias. Not the Pshitas. There's the Nefesh, the way he's able to be Nizgala through a Tzir. So it's not the Nefesh Kameshu Hu Ba'atzmasei, but it's not a Tnu of Ganzen Nituk from the Nefesh. Is the way the Nefesh is able to Nizgala through a Metzias. So they're saying all these 49 you have a Malchus. You have the Nekudas of Eir Malchus, which will be this, and Bechlolos, the Nin of Eir Ba'amitis, which is in Yonis is Galas HaMakir, which is the Makir is Ein Sof, there's Galas HaMakir Kameshu. There is not Shaykh in of Tzir. That's Teira. And Mela Teira is beyond, there's no Agbolos of Yem Belayla, there's no Agbolos of this Yid, that Yid. Teira is one is an Nekudas Hashva, it's not Shaykh in Chalkos. And then that's the cuts of Eir Kameshu, Hula Galas HaMakir. Then you have Malchus, which in Yoni is the Mahava Metzias Nifredes, a world. Heaven and earth, nothing to do with Eibusher. Then you have heaven and earth as which are a keli to bring out a certain Indian of Gadlus Hashem. A Yid could see that Shemayim is Saprim Kaveit Kel. That's you're looking at Shemayim as an expression of his greatness. Then there's an element of Shemayim that is just a blue heaven there. There's no expression of anything. It's just a Metzias. The fact that you're able to appreciate through Shemayim the Eibusher's Gadlus, that's already a certain teichin that you're seeing in Shemayim. Then there's the matter itself. The matter itself doesn't express anything. That's all these inyanim come from Malchus. So the Nekudas HaHelem, shame of Malchus, which is the fact which doesn't express any inyan of Gili. Mitzad that vert Metzias from the matter of Eilumis, which doesn't express any inyan of the key, which that's going to be. That's the Nekudas B'Sheshan. That's the Tinzeh. That's it. Aval B'Keini Hagam that Teira is the Er Kameshu B'Atzmusei B'Nesinas Teira Lamata Yibazes Chalkos Meishim Chitz B'Fnatzmei. And Mashegim B'Sheshan is the opposite Kotze because Agili Mitzad Aveda Lamata. So there's no Gili Mamayla. I mean, even the Gili of Koyach you don't have here. Even the Gili of the Eir HaMislavish B'Kelim. Eir HaMislavish B'Kelim is not the Metzias of Elam as the way it is in Sadatzmei. The Metzias of a table, the way it is in Sadatzmei is a table. It doesn't express anything. Then there's, through this Keli, you can see an Eir. That's already the Nivra, the way it's connected to an Eir. The way it's attached to the Makir. Shoshana is the Aveda Mamata. Not Mitzad the Gili Mamayla. Tchilo Ani L'Daiti V'Charka means there's no Yachas of Esgalas Mamayla. It's the Adam HaMalubish B'Guf. He begins his shaykhs to the Eibishter. So the chos of Shoshana who have the tshuva. We're doing the tachtan is he has to the tshuva. That means there's ugliness for the melody. It's gezindik. It means he's not aligned with this market. Aveda tshuva charat olaver kabbalah lahaba. Sheyesh b'zichilukim min echad lasheni. Sharein the same Shabbos. Shekachu apit teira sharein the same Shabbos. Every person is different, and the azay darv saying every person is different. For Ein Zil Grace, this is saying also as a Ein Zil Grace, the Adar Abu Mitzad Gadlus Aveda. This is then später. Here the Rebbe is speaking out the Yiridische Bezeh. The Rebbe is right away saying that it's a godless abeirich. Remember, Zal Hagit Loss of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Sh'adam Tevmei Kamam at Beis V'Chisamel Kol Dem Zal Zeh. One stamp, every stamp is going to be equal. Malach Macham Lachem use the same chesam for each person. Each person is different. Tavak Alot Mechasam Sh'Ladam Rishon. Ve'enachem Le'yon Chaber. That's the Nukud of godless Hashem. That is a ribui. The ribui brings out the Eibush as godless. But the Pele Chassidus and Mavayir is because the etzem is because the Nukud of what expresses the etzem, the fact that it is able to create something which is legamri detached of it. The tacht and kamei that's rooted dafka in the etzem. So the godless which is not limited to the tzir of achtos is expressed dafka in the makim nom. This Nukud of adam chetevei kam mit vezich esem echad and the geshbei ebis had the ebish this tachlis haribui. This in of ligvo that's dafka in elken then später. But what's the Nukud that that Rosh Hashanah is Dani, each person is different. And we're dealing with Dani the way he is, has his derech, has his nisenis and his things. Each person is different. And Shuvah is not, we're not dealing with the Nukud Sa'achtas. We're not focusing Rosh Hashanah on the aspect that all Yidden are the same. So you forget about your own path, and there's the Nukud of the Neshama, where I have one Nukud of dedication to the Eibusha, and there's no Mitzvahs. The Rosh Hashanah is Shuvah. Shuvah means that each person has to deal with what he has to fix, what he has to be masakin. So the chur, there's a chalkas. We're dealing with Dani, not the way it's made up saying it's Shama Momayla, and we're dealing with Dani, dealing with the not the way Dani is in the true of hafshata from his mitzias, dealing with the inyan that he has to deal with, his tzir. So the chur it's a pikol zayin move and eich efshesh v'shana shavedim mitzad mata, and the inyan is tikana over chulu. Sheni devar kaver k'mishu etzalech laver k'mishu etzalach sheni k'mishu shana kol chom achadim ke'echad. There's achtos. But in Torah, she'agilu ma'mayla, and there, Mishukom can Moshe in Chizuk Fnatz v'chulu. So it's the same in a way. In the language of Maamarim before, the same shayla. L'chura is gilu, shame is helen, and Aval became dafke the nifna the kere batzmus is dafke through shame. That's the nukud that Rebbe is going to here. Achinu the Torah b'chinas chachma shalmayla. The Rebbe starts with chachma, but in Sfiris it's chachma, and we're dealing with. Even called the Erev Shame, it's Erev L'umas Shame. Within Sfiris, it's Chachma and Malchus. Teir is Chachma and Shoshana is Malchus. But within more the broader context of the idea, Chachma represents the Inyan Er, Beifim Kloli, and Malchus is Inyan Hashem. That's the Teichin Advar. So, the Inyan Teir, because Chachma Shal Ma'adum, we're going to Inyan Chachma, the Afa Sheba Etzem, and Yetzem, and Never Shu Chachma, even though, even though the air, since it's Meina, the Etzem, the air is Meina Etzem. The air contains everything. Rafa became the Gilui in Yoni of air is Gilui, not Etzem, even though the fact air Lamailans had this Dveikus, has everything with the Pel in Yoni air stems from the Mar. Others says negate an Etzem to negate the Chachma. Even though Be'etzem, Mamita Seinian, Chachma is the Etzem Anefesh. Mikom can be Gilui a Chachma in Skeach Lavat. Shubrich Etzem Anefesh. I mean, this is the Indian, but not verstehen. The Pel says in Chassidus that Mamita Seinian, the Begilui Chachma is a Keach, it's in of Seichel. And it's a keich legabe the nefesh. And chayis is the isgalas nefesh. But the mitzvah inyan chachma is connected to the etzem nefesh deeper than chayis. As they state. Yeah, that's a besonder inyan. Is that mal gehört wegen dem? Steht das ein. That by mitzvah inyan, the tnuah etzem is connected to chachma. But what's negel in inenu is that the Rebbe says later the gabe er, even though er mein amar, so and the gabe atzmas, since the moed is chad with all the other inyanim in atzmas. So the air contains within itself everything, but in Yoni of Eir is Gili. The Metzias of Eir itself is, in Yoni of Eir is Gili HaMakir, which stems from the fact that the Makir is a Makir. That's the Inyan. Eir is the expression of the Makir. So it's the Makir the way it relates to expression. The Paya Lamaila, the Makir is Chad with the fact that he's a Beir. That's something else. But in Yoni of Eir as Eir, it's in Metzias of Eir is Gili HaMakir. That's Nevem Tzad the Nekudas HaMakir. So there is a Chachma. But Mitzvah Inyan is a Behelim, from a higher perspective, let's say, Chachma is Etzem HaNefesh, from a higher perspective. But Legavi Chachma, the way Chachma expresses itself in actual Begilui, Chachma is a Keach. And a Keach, it's a certain function of the Nefesh. It doesn't capture the Etzem HaNefesh. Adarach, like we're saying when you get to Eir. From the perspective of Atzmos Darten, the Eir, Ba'amitas in the Eir is connected to the deepest Inyanim. Begilui, the way the Eir is expressed, Lepel, Mamish, Nishashlos, Eir is Gilui, which relates to the Nekudas HaMor. Adarach is a Chachma. But midas inyan chachma has to do with etzem nefesh. It's not just a tnuah of chachma keach ma, a tnuah of chveis barak hamabrik. the tnuah of chachma of bittul to an inyan which is higher than the person, this tnuah relates to that primis and nefesh even more than chayis. But that's mamitas inyan. But goli chachma is a certain keach haseichel. Mashikin chayis reflects the etzem nefesh itself. So etzem nefesh begili chachma mechinas keach lavatshu b'richik etzem nefesh. Mashikin begili etzem nefesh in the chayis. Omatas is keches. Keches gufa is keches. Kivim keches pnimi. Chachma is called keches pnimi. V'hainu should be gilu yesh tzimtzum hefsek. There's the etzem nefesh and there's chachma. Al there's yuvim min nater she chachma shalamayla. Af shebeter yesh nikola atzmus. Zer shete in a necher shteves and non af shavos. But that's not. Ain't about begilu. Metzias of Torah is seichel is chachma. V'Torah k'meish ba begilu b'chinas pnimis. Kivin she b'chinas pnimis ba lif erech haMekaplan. V'yesh b'zeh kamen bedidus v'chiluk haMeish b'chitz alatzim b'chul. It's b'sheira shein yanim. Torah is not is begili, not the etzem k'meishu. Torah is the way the etzem is in a tnu of gilui. The way the yanim are being expressed. The way it's being expressed, it's not sheivel legami in of tzir v'agbal. It's the yanim of course the way it's gal in a certain mode, a certain agdara. But prati yisrael in tzfiris Torah is chachma. So chachma is not the pshitas and nefesh k'meishu ba'atzmi yosei. It's the way already the system of keches begins. Keches are already certain ways of being typhus the nefesh. Certain inyanim which are able to, certain milas they're able to be typhus in the gadlus nefesh. So on a more broader sense, Torah is all the way the inyanim are in a state of gilui, not the way the inyanim are bad. Mash'inkin is sheshan. B'meila, it's not sheil legamri the din of his chalkos of tzir. Mash'inkin amr b'sheshan. That's in of his galsa etzim. Since we're dealing with this galus ha'etzem, if we're dealing with this, the etzem is not limited to any tzir, to any tayar. He's not shaykh to the gather of gili. So there, the achtos is not dependent on the fact that b'mitzias there's pshitas. It's all one akudah. Even if each one has his own tzir, it's not a stira mitzad the nekudas ha'etzem. There's not limited in any form of mitzias. So the achtas, the atzim is the achtas. Even if they're in the form of tzir, they're still one. They're still ba'achtas. Means the other says that the achtas of Yidden are not only in Yanim Ruchnim, even their Yanim Gashmin is in the Kodav achtas. Der shtickle bread is diner reminders. The other says the achtas is mitzad sheresh nafshem avay echad, but mitzad the gufter is chalkos. That's mitzad the nevish the way it's mugdal in the gather of pshitas. But mitzad the mitzvah say Inyan that Yidden are one with atzmos. So even the way the mitzias of God, even the way they are in a tzir of Gashmis, the achtas is there also. Does not understand? I'm just want to make at the point that mitzad the etzem, there's no the whole gather of mitzias. He's beyond the whole gather of mitzias. So the fact that the tzir ribui is heipach achtas. That's each one is divided. Dafke pshitis is achtas. That's mitzad agboletik achtas. The achtas has a certain form. So dafke shlilas at tzir is achtas. But achtas, that's the achtas way it is be'etzem, the way the Yidden are mushish and atzmos, there, every Yid can have his distinct form, and it's all one akudah of Shlome's kavanas etzem. The etzem is not limited in any tzir. That's the nekudah b'chlolis. Let me know in the Eshta Parshura, so we'll see the hemshech. It says, the same nekudah that I was saying, the same two nekudah I was saying last time, let me get a bisschen weiter. Just ein Kratz in der Maim, we'll be able to go a little weiter. You get the idea b'cholos, yeah? You versteht the meaning of the The achtas is not totally in a tnuah of heipach hatzir. Even within the realm of tzir, the nekudas achtas is cheder. The etzem doesn't have a limit of where he's able to be expressed. So even in a place of tzir, v'eschalkos, there the nekudas achtas is able to be meir also. Doesn't have to be the shlilas hatzir, shlilas hatzir. So you're saying two things. Mitzad the etzem. There's able to be this gospel because even in a Matthias of Nifrit, of Pirut. How could you have Gidel? That I was saying with Maamarim before was about the etzem of his gospel lakus. Mitzad they're only able to be his gospel lakus in a nivra which is behemshech to the makir. Mashayk mitzad the etzem could be his gospel lakus even in a nivra which comes al derech hefsek, which comes by the Pirut. There's here we're dealing with the benegeta achtos. Mitzad Gidel there's achtos where there's shlilas atzir, where there's bittul to pshitas. Mashayk mitzad etzem this galus ha'achdas is b'chol makim, and in every matzav, in every tzir. So that's the mitzad ha'etzim, and the Rebbe is saying even more than that. Not only the mitzad ha'etzim, there's achdas everywhere. Vu gitz chareis, the mitzad, the Indian, the way it is mitzad ha'etzim, is in the inyan and the way they are lamata mata. The way the inyanim are lamata mata, that is that reflects the inyan and the way it is mitzad ha'etzim. So kile etzim sheish shanu b'chinas Hashem davke. I was saying last time the Rebbe brings the Gabi Achtas tak the word that Shmini Atzeres the Achtas is, it says the karbanos are par echad ayel echad, so it's karbanos in of kiruv, burning it agabe mezbeach, and it's par echad ayel echad. It's a hergesh of when you're in a tunu of aliyah there could be Achtas. Simchas Torah's dancing is not in a kud of rotzi. The Indian of Achtas, people dancing is together. It's not separately. Dancing is an ego. There's a person can dance himself, but I'm saying there's a tzir of rikut that's everybody forms one circle. Everybody forms one rikut. There's beregal. There's no maschalkos in dancing. So that's not mitzad the nekud of hergish of inyan either. That's when it comes to rikut, there's just one. The pshittis, it's one. It's not a mitzad the inyan of hechere inyan. There's achtos. There's only one. That's the achtos the way it is mitzad the etzim. So out in the kudah, not mitzad the Indian of hafshata. There's one kudah. There's all one kudah. The kudah of kavanas etzem. That's the matter of fact, so to speak. That matter of fact expresses the inyan and the way they are mitzad the etzem. Let's see the Rebbe says. Kila etzem sheshanu b'chinas Hashem dav. Is that much you get the shanu b'miras eser should be Hashem? Yeah, mit shingezendem the kudah. Shehevesh b'ner l'shem hu the eru gid b'shem hu helam. Ukanal yeshnu miyadam shmisem shavin v'hem chulukim zem zegam midyanim ikri. Kolosh namayim meshachet amid chochem asheni amaretz. There's a mile in Shem. Even though Shem doesn't, you can't identify the person through the name, but mitzad ze gufa, mitzad the fact that there is no esgalus of the market within Shem, and then b'shtei the mile of Shem aver. It says ershu gilui, so it's not mamshach the etz, so it only relates to the etz and the way it relates to gilui. It's the etz. What's pshat gilui? Gilui means the market is being esgalus. So if the gili is the expression of the makar, so the makar relates to the expression. If the makar is mufshat lagamri, so so the gili is not expressing it. So gili is mechayiv, that is the makar shaykhs to the gather of gili, not the way the makar is mufshat. So ershu gili mashekin helim relates to the etzim because the etzim is not limited in the form of gili. So his being is not dependent on the gather of gili. His being is a being which is be'etzim, and b'meila the fact that begoli. You can't there's nothing that relates to him. The Etzem doesn't have that agdara that he's only in a place which relates to him. Here the Rebbe says an interesting lotion over here. Also later in the Maamarim, the end of the Maamarim is very stark, the lashenis over here. Here the Rebbe is bringing out how that it could have what's mamshach the Etzem, not the fact that he's present in a place which is behemshach to him. The fact that he's able to affect an inyan which is mechutzim, which is far from him. The fact that he's able to be effective in a place which is not a kelitin. That brings out the head agdar of that. So these be the shpam the body on a later fish star classes of the soft. In fact, in the pashta shaila, actually, there's a shayla welcome recent meal that comes to Britain. Even there are different places, and Avakin is there. So why did he have for Rav Nuna Sava? Why couldn't they come to the Idr also? The way Nibes said, "Zema shabal bris milo raknit tzutzimen." But his etzem came. So to the idra, he came to with his etzem. But his etzem can be in one place. Oh, so was sich ausgedrückt that Eliyahu Hanavi was by Rav Amnuna Sava, that his etzem was there, is the fact that he came begufay. The brisim is his netzutzes come. The netzutzes and the ha'ares don't capture the etzem. Etzem Husav Eliyahu is not connected to the bris. They give him share and everything, but the poil, his Etzem Hus is not attached to the bris. Mashiach to the Idra and to Rav Nuna Sava, that his home Hus was there, and that's reflected in the fact that it comes begufay. So l'chol fakir, guf is a basar is in yinamuch. So guf should only contain a ha'ara. Mashiach the Etzem is a hecher is So the Pesach by night, you see. The levush with what Eliyahu comes is the levush ruchni, ha'aris of Eliyahu, not because they say he's invisible over there. But there's a levush ruchni that he comes. It's nothing to do with the. So that only captures his ha'ara, not his etzem. His etzem comes to afka b'guf. That's what was Who does? בהמשך זה עצם בגוף דווקא. לי יש עצם בגוף, הנה הגוף מגדיר את עצם. שעצם מוגדר. הנה יכול להיות גם כאחד. The movement זה מעל שער נשם בגוף דווקא. שבזה דווקא נמשך העצם. מני צוצה שמנה וכי מסלו עשו אחד דהים, איני נמשך העצם. ובהמשך בגוף דווקא נמשך העצם. That's the mile of shame. שהריקיש נשם בגוף עד השם, they're saying a raya, but it's also a beer. The Nakud of the nefesh, the way the nefesh itself doesn't have a name. The whole Nakud of name is misad discussion the nefesh beguf, because kisha nefesh beguf, that's what expresses that atzmius of the nefesh. The neshama, the way it's in ruchni, higher than the slashis beguf, there vreintzach Tishrei is the etzem of the neshama. The etzem is brought out to the fact that it is able to be payil, or his inyan is cheder in a place which pegili has no shaykhis there. A guf, a davar daimon. And the guf is also affected by the inyan nefesh. That's mitzad the etzem, which his inyan has no definition, has no agdara. Or his inyan is beyond gilui. The fact that this is the inyan, this is the inyan without a tzir, without a taich. And that's expressed in the fact that even a guf is able to be connected to the inyan. Okay, this is already, this will do. The same spread the Rebbe says even though by midas the inyan Chacham is okay. We'll do this part. We'll do this next. We'll try to finish the Maamarim next time, and we can start. We can start Kesser Yitnu L'cha. If you want to finish the Hemshech, we'll start Kesser Yitnu L'cha.